For about 3 decades, one single piece of technology has been the undisputed king of the database world. I mean, the absolute gold standard. But what happens when that legend starts to become a liability? Today, we're going to dig into a massive shift right at the very core of how databases work, a change that really does signal the end of an era. And look, that's not an exaggeration. Row-level locking was the killer feature. It was the secret weapon that let Oracle just completely dominate the market for online transaction processing, OLTP. Think about all the systems that run our daily lives, sales, inventory, banking, you name it. For years, this was seen as the perfect, most elegant solution to a huge, huge problem. And that's the crazy part, isn't it? The very thing that made Oracle famous is now the bottleneck, the bad guy, in the kinds of high-speed systems that matter most today. It's like the hero that lived long enough to become the villain. So what gives? What changed? Well, to really get it, we've got to go back a bit and understand the tech itself.
All right, so to see why this change is such a monumental deal, we need to jump in our time machine and head back, way back to the database wars of the early 1990s. This is really the origin story of the lock that won it all.
Back then, the scene was an absolute battlefield. You had these giants like Sybase and Microsoft SQL Server just duking it out for control. But they all had this same big, clunky problem. They were all using something called page-level locking. So with page-level locking, if you wanted to update just one little row of data, the database had to lock the entire page of data where it lived, and that could mean locking thousands of other rows along with it. It's exactly like that DMV nightmare where one person asking a question at the counter freezes the entire line of 50 people behind them. So inefficient. Then Oracle walks in with row-level locking. You touch one row, you lock only that one row. Everybody else can keep on working. It was a total game changer. But here's the thing. Even the most brilliant designs have a weakness, right? An Achilles heel. And for row-level locking, it was a problem that back in the 90s seemed kind of rare. But today, oh man, it is everywhere. They called it the hotspot. So how does our hero from the 90s become the villain of today? Well, it all comes down to one thing: the sheer scale and speed of modern applications. Let me show you what I mean with a classic everything's on fire inventory nightmare. Okay, picture this. It's a flash sale. There's one hot ticket item left. Let's say it's a specific V8 engine. And bam! 500 different mechanics all try to buy it at the exact same millisecond. They're all hitting the database with this one simple SQL command to lower the quantity. So what do you think happens? Yeah, this happens. This is the dreaded error message that gives developers and database administrators nightmares. It's just the technical term for a massive traffic jam happening inside your database. See, even with that awesome row-level lock, only one person's transaction can actually get the lock on that V8 engine row at a time. Everyone else, they have to get in line and wait. And this is what it looks like. One lucky mechanic gets the engine, but the other 499 are just stuck, frozen, waiting. Your entire application grinds to a halt, all because everyone is fighting over a single piece of data. And this is the really important part. The database isn't broken. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do 30 years ago. It's not a bug, it's a feature from a totally different era, an era that came way before flash sales and a gazillion microtransactions. And in today's world, that kind of slow is basically the new down. So how do you fix a problem that's literally baked into the foundation of the system? Well, you have to change the foundation. And that's exactly what Oracle is doing in 23AI with this completely new way of thinking about the problem, something they call the Escrow engine. And get this, the solution starts with this one ridiculously simple line of code. You just alter your table and declare that a column, like quantity, is now reservable. Now, this isn't some little hint or a background setting. No, this is a fundamental change to how the database is going to handle that specific column from now on. So, how does this magic work? Instead of locking, the database now acts kind of like a reservation agent. When a mechanics transaction says, "I want 1, the database just peaks, checks if the quantity is greater than 0, and if it is, it just says, "Okay, I promise you 1, and immediately moves on to the next request. There's no lock, there's no wait. It can make 500 of these promises instantly. Then, after the whole rush is over, it reconciles the final math in the background. It's not about queuing anymore, it's about accounting. So just think about the difference here. The old way was that painfully slow, single-file line at the parts counter. The new way is like having a bucket full of reservation tickets. All 500 mechanics can rush up and just grab a ticket instantly. No line, no waiting, no blocking whatsoever. Okay, but let's be real for a second. This is not a magic silver bullet that fixes everything. It is a highly specialized tool. It only works for simple plus or minus math, like quantity equals quantity minus 1. You can't use this to update a customer's address or do other complex things. It is precision engineered for one job and one job only, managing those insane inventory and counter hotspots at incredible speed. So what does all of this mean for the future? Well, it means we're basically witnessing the graceful retirement of a true legend in the world of database technology. And the reason for this big change is pretty simple. The world has changed. We don't build applications for a few dozen users anymore. We build for tens of thousands, for viral flash sales, for global systems that are running at a blistering pace. The old tools, as great as they were, just weren't built for this new battlefield. And this quote just sums it all up perfectly. Row-level locking isn't wrong. It's a Hall of Fame technology. It won the war, it built empires. But after 30 years of heroic work, it's just tired. And now, for these specific high-speed workloads, it's finally getting a very well-deserved retirement. So this is a really fundamental shift, moving from a world of waiting to a world of reserving. And it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other foundational technologies, these legends we rely on every single day, are just quietly waiting for their own retirement party?